Afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you are. Um, I'm here to talk solutions, to offer free counseling for anyone that is worried about something and it's getting them so worried and they really want to talk about it. But they don't want to talk about it with those that are close to them because maybe they feel they're going to get judged or they're going to use it against them, and they want to share with a total stranger and get advice, opinion, and you know solutions. That's what I'm here for. So you can, on the chat section, whatever it says, what is it that is getting you so worried? What situation are you going through now that you're so worried about it or about how it's gonna turn out? You never know. Talking with somebody else about it can actually make you feel better, and it actually make you see it from a different perspective and take away the worries, because the truth is that worrying so much about it will not make things better. It will only make it worse. But sometimes it's easier said than done. We still catch ourselves being so worried about things. But I discovered that when you talk about it, but the problem with talking about it is sometimes people are no longer trustworthy, because when you talk about it with them in the later future, you tend to hear it from somebody else, you know. So I'm here to be that stranger that offers the free counseling, because some people don't even want to go see maybe their pastor or friend or family member because of them tending to use it against them in the future. So then I'm that person that don't know you, because in the chat section, when you type the question or what is getting you so worried, I don't know you. I don't know who the person is. So you get to share what is worrying you, and you get to receive another opinion or a solution without the person having to use it against you tomorrow. So that's why I'm here and what I'm here for. So what exactly is getting you so worried and sleepless, and you feel like there is no hope? Is it your health? Is it your doctor's reports? And your mind is making up so much, because the mind is so good as at making up things that are non-existent. Maybe just from one little thing that you see, your mind makes up like a million could be's or what ifs. So you need to have control over your mind, to tell your mind, no, that's not going to happen, or until it actually happens. Most of the 90% of the things that we worry about, or because we think is going to happen, end up not happening. That's just the truth. It end up not happening. I always tell myself, unless somebody tells me this, or unless it's confirmed, I don't really have to worry about it, because this is my mind making up scenarios or making up situations, getting you all worked up, like maybe you're going to lose your marriage or your relationship, or that something is happening in your life or your health, or you're going to die, or you're going to lose your job. I mean, so many things that we imagine in our minds that gets us so worried, or that people looking down on you, or that maybe you're not beautiful enough, or that maybe you're not being appreciated in your office, or that maybe you're not going to get promoted, or you're being taken out. I mean, so many things. 90% of the things that get us worried really worried. Because if it actually happened, you won't be worried about it because it already happened. I mean, worry is thinking about something that you feel is going to happen, not something that already happened. If it already happened, it's no longer a worry. It's a situation, is a circumstance that already happened. So the things we worry about are things that haven't happened. They're things that we think will happen. And 90% of them end up not happening. They never happen. It's just our brain making up what if scenarios for us based on maybe experience or things we have seen happen in other people's life who were in a similar situation, or things we've seen in the movies. Let me put it like that. So the residual knowledge that we have in our brains about that particular situation or that particular circumstance or that particular topic, the brain uses that residual knowledge to begin to make up things for us, you know, make up things for us. And then we begin to worry about those things that the brain made up. So 90% of that thing that the brain made up based on what we fed the brain don't actually happen. It's just us making up stuff for ourselves, which reality don't even in reality it doesn't even play out that way at the end of the day. Even if the doctor gave you a report, aside from that report, your brain tend to spiral it to more than what the report is. Maybe it begins to think about death, it begins to think about worst case scenario, and then you're so worried and frantic, not about actually the report that the doctor gave you. You're so worried and frantic about the scenario that your brain has made up that could come up from what the doctor gave you. So you discover that you're not actually even worried about the doctor's report. You're worried about the things your brain is telling you that is going to happen from that doctor's report. So that's your brain making up situations from the knowledge that has been fed to you. Okay, let me use another example. Let me say maybe you have an exam coming up and you're not ready about it, and you've already fed your brain the knowledge from maybe what happened to other people or from movies or from stories that when you don't read well you're going to fail. So now because you didn't read well, you're already scared and believing that you're going to fail. Okay, so your brain is now making up situations. Your brain is making up scenarios. Your brain is making up suggestions for you, or what ifs, based on the fact that you have fed the brain before that when you don't read, you fail. It happened to this person, it happened to that person, it happened to this or that. So based on that knowledge, you fed your brain. When you yourself is not ready, your brain is already telling you you're going to fail. Your mind is already telling you you're going to fail. You're definitely going to fail because you're not ready, and this is how it happens, and that. You might not fail. The question they might ask you at the end of the day might be something that you already know even without reading. It might be a very simple exam, but you're already worried even before seeing the question or seeing the exam. You're already worried based on your preparation level because, like I said, your brain is already fed with the knowledge that when somebody doesn't prepare, I'm not saying you shouldn't prepare, but sometimes most of the preparation we make when you get to the exam hall, you don't even see those things you were like frantically trying to prepare yourself for. You don't even tend to see them. You discover that you even use like residual knowledge and understanding to answer the question, you know. But right before the exam, you were really worried, really, really worried and scared. So that's worry again. Being you worried about something that doesn't exist, but your brain tells you or your mind tells you is going to happen. Okay? So when you have this understanding, that the things you're worried about are not things that are already in existence. Because if it's in existence, you won't be worried about it. Rather, it's a situation at hand that you're finding, you're trying to get out of. But you worried about something that you feel is going to happen. You think is going to happen, or your mind have told you it will happen. And your brain has helped create this horrible scenarios of what's going to happen. And you so worried, so bothered. I'm here to tell you that 90% of those things you worried about won't happen. Even from past experience, you should ask yourself, what was I worried about last year? Like, what were you so worried about last year? Then ask yourself, those things you are worried about, did they happen? If you check it. Like, I'm asking you, I'm also thinking about it myself. What was I worried about last year? What was I worried about was going to happen? What kept me so worried, so awake in the night? What did what did my brain keep pounding and bring it to me that I keep worrying about last year? And then I discovered that most of those things I was worried about never happened. Never. So so you discover that worry is just like is wasting your time, your energy, and wasting your period to be happy and to be joyful, because those things never happen. They never come to pass. Like 90% of them, maybe like 10% end up happening, but 90% of your worries never come to pass. Let's say you worried you're going to lose your job, because in your mind you feel like that they are murmuring something, and that the thing they are murmuring is about you. Or in your mind you feel like your boss or the people you work with don't like you, so if they are looking for somebody to lay off, they're gonna lay you off. It's a different situation if they told you to your face that they don't like you, but because of their body language, you're already concluding in your mind that they don't like you. What if it's not about whether they like you or they don't like you, but they even have a different thought about you in their mind? What if they're intimidated by you? What if they admire you? What if they really do appreciate you? What if they want to have a better relationship with you, but you giving them negative energy? That's why that body language that you sense from them, it's like that. And you on your own part, you concluding it that they don't like you, while they actually want to do relate with you, but you giving up a not good energy, or maybe you giving up a too good energy that they are intimidated by you. They are intimidated by you. It could be either way. So it might not even be what you're thinking. The situation most times is not what you're thinking. I'm telling you the truth. The situation most times is not what you're thinking. It's totally different. Our minds are good at making up stories that are not real. I feel that's how writers even get to write, because their mind make up things that are not real. So I mean, they make good money or make good use of those imaginations. And based on upbringing and shows that we've watched over the years, we we tend to conclude. Because let me say somebody is not smiling at you at work, but because you have watched shows or movies or a series that tells you that when people are not smiling at you, they have something against you. Now your brain has been fed that. So when somebody is not smiling at you at work, one thing that just goes to your mind is, yes, they don't like me, they don't like me. No. And then your brain begins to make up a lot of reasons why they don't like you. you know. But on the contrary, maybe those people not smiling at you is because they have issues themselves. They have something they are going through and they don't even feel like smiling at nobody. Okay. And maybe one time you did something to them, they haven't let go or forgotten, and you don't even know that you did something to them. Or maybe they're intimidated by how much you know or who you are and stuff like that, and they are trying to build a wall so that you don't look down at them, because maybe they feel that you much better person than them, and they don't want you to look down at them on them. So because of that, they build a wall, and that wall is like being so serious so that you don't think low of them. Maybe they feel if they are more friendly with you and nice to you, maybe you're going to see them as weak, or you're going to see them as easy to be taken. I can't say what's going on in their mind, but I can tell you that what's going on in your mind is definitely not what's going on in their mind. Except if you people grew up in the same house, watched the same shows, had the same friends, had the same experience in life, then you can tell me that what's going on in their mind is what's going on in your mind. But if your brain makeup, your experience makeup is different from theirs, is definitely different. What's going in your mind and their mind is them. If sometimes is that's why it's good to communicate, because if you feel like, if you're worried that somebody has something against you or don't like you, just go out of your way to ask them. Say, why you act like this? Why don't you like me? They're gonna be like, what? No way. You're gonna be so surprised that you will feel stupid, because by the time, most times people don't let their guards down, because but by the if some people are nice enough to tell you what's going on in their mind, you discover that it's way different from what you've been over the days and the months ruminating on your mind over and over again. You discover that is way different, and you discover that you punished yourself with so much worries just for nothing. For nothing. The things you were assuming in your mind, and the things you were assuming in your brain, it wasn't true. It wasn't real. They are not even thinking that. That's why they say one key to reducing the worries, if it's something that has to do with people, is to talk it out with them. Talk about it with them. Talk about it. Be humble enough, because sometimes people be like, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want them to look at me somehow. But you prefer to stick with the worry. You prefer to stick with the assumption, the wrong conclusions. It's best to talk about it and be free and have peace. Talk about it. Ask them. Tell them what you might not tell them exactly what you're thinking, because I'm telling you, what you're thinking is crazy. What you're thinking in your mind is way over. Our minds always think, our minds exaggerate. Let me put it like that. Our mind over exaggerate situations. I'm you. That is why he that can control his mind and his thoughts, it's is more than 10 men guarding a city. Because you guarding your heart. You guarding your heart. You have control over your heart, and you don't let it spiral out and over exaggerate or over assume situations. Try it. If you have a situation that is that you worried about, or if you're worried about a particular person and you think maybe that person doesn't like you, or that person has something against you, try it. Talk to them about it. Don't tell them all the things in your mind because it's gonna be crazy. They're gonna be like, What are you talking about?" Just maybe like talk to them about it a little bit. Tell them, I'm a little bit worried because I feel maybe you don't like me. I've had similar situation. After I even told the person, the person was like, "Oh, no way! What are you talking about?" I mean, by the time they explained themselves, I felt stupid because all the things that's been going on in my mind, I was calculating, even planning on how I'm gonna you know, treat the person and react like this for days, ruminating on thoughts and thoughts that are not even real. And by the time the person explained themselves and explained the situation, you even feel like, why? Why was I even thinking this way? You know. So most times, at least I've given you two examples of things that could worry you and how you're taking it overboard. Okay. I'm going to give you one more situation. Let me say, for example, maybe in your relationship or in your marriage, maybe you feel like your spouse is cheating on you. That is even the worst. Except if you've caught your spouse cheating on you. Okay? Those thoughts are they are over exaggerated. They are not real. You making up those thoughts or those assumptions, or I used to, based on maybe I don't know, like I said, residual knowledge. Maybe movies you watched growing up or shows you watched growing up tells you that when a guy responds this way or when a guy is doing this, then the guy is definitely cheating. So based on that thing that you fed your brain with, when your spouse or your partner, your spouse begins to act that way, your brain already concludes, it could be something is happening or something is not happening. So you discover that you're concluding based on the knowledge you fed your brain, not based on reality, not based on evidence. Okay, it's different if you caught the person, or that one is no longer a worry. That one is now a situation at hand. Okay, but when you're worried that somebody is cheating or is going to cheat, it's based on assumptions that your brain has made or is making up for you based on the knowledge you fed. You know when they say garbage in, garbage out, garbage in, garbage out. So the things you fed your brain, experiences have fed your brain. Things you have seen happen in other people relationship have fed your brain. Things that maybe happened to you in the past have fed your brain. You garbage it into your brain about a particular situation. Now we're talking about relationship and spouses or marriage. So the things you fed your brain, that the things your brain is gonna garbage out when you have a situation like that come up. Okay, so let me say now you fed your brain that when another lady tests your husband late in the night, then they have something for the person to have that audacity to text. Or maybe when your husband is being nice to somebody else over the phone, then they have something. Why would he be so nice and mushy? Okay, how did you get to that conclusion? You got to that conclusion based on knowledge from the past, from movies you have watched that have showed you similar situation. That's how it all started, was that the man was so nice and then he cheated. Or maybe from other people's relationship and what they told you that happened, or maybe from your past experience. So it's already stored up here that when somebody's acting like that, the person is already doing something. So once you now see those signs, even if it's totally different person, or even if the person is a totally different person and the person is not the person from your past, is not the person from other people's relationship, is not the person in the movie, Even though it's not like different person, you have no evidence. Your brain is already making up something for you. It's already making up scenarios and situations and thoughts. Your brain is already like going hi, hey, hey, hi, like thoughts are coming up and you're making up stuff in your brain. And 90% of the stuff you're making up, you don't even have evidence. They are just assumptions you're making. Okay. And for real, maybe he's not even doing anything. Maybe he's not. Most times he's not. Most times she's not. Most times your spouse is not. It's just your brain making up stuff based on experiences and knowledge you have fed it. So it's garbaging it out to you. So that's why you have to guard your heart, guard the things that you put in. Because when you find yourself in that similar situation, immediately your mind is gonna garbage out those things that you've put in, and your mind is going to tell you, yes, this was what happened in so place, and now this is how it ended. So if this is happening to you, this is how it's gonna end. That's not true. That's not true. You are not you're not the same people with so place, and they are not the same people with you. So yours can totally turn out in a different way. So you don't have to begin to worry and panic so much based on that conclusion that because this happened to this person and this is how it ended, this is how my own is gonna end. No way. You guys are different. The situation is different. The circumstance is different. The way you're going to handle the situation is different from the way they handle the situation. So you cannot have similar ending. So you don't have to beat yourself up worrying so much that this is going to be how your own is going to end, or this is how the situation is going to turn out to be. No way. That's not how it's going to turn out to be. Okay? So I don't know what is getting you so worried. We can talk about it, and when I see it on the chat, on the comment section, and I'll be able to, we can talk solutions. Because I mean, ruminating on the worry will not actually even change anything, and continuously worrying about it will not change anything. What will change something is talking solutions, and that's what I'm here for, to talk solutions with you. Could it be this? Did you try this? um what if it's that? It's always good to talk solution with somebody that don't have your experience, don't have the the knowledge that you have. We have different experience, so we see things from different perspective, so to say. So it's always good to see things from another person's perspective and view of life, you know. So you really don't have to worry about anything, and you really don't have to let your mind assume and make up things, or make up stuff. You really have to have control over your mind. Like I said, 90% of the things that you worried about are things that haven't happened yet. They're things that your mind is making up. Okay? And 90% of those things you worried about are not gonna happen. Because if it already happened, then it's not a worry. It's a situation at hand. Worry is something you feel that will happen. So you worried about it. You're worried it's going to happen. So I'm here to tell you, those things you worried about, 90% of it is not going to happen. So don't act based on your worry. Don't act based on things your brain or your mind is, or scenarios or what ifs your mind is making up for you based on previous situations or movies or shows or things you have previously filled your brain with. So now your brain is on this author say that when this happens, this is what is how it's going to end. No way, that's not how it's going to end. No matter the situation is, how it happened for another person is not how it's going to happen for you. How it happened in that movie is not how it's going to happen for you. How it happened in your past is not how is what is going to happen in your present. Okay, so you don't have to let your brain make up things based on what it already knows, make up what ifs for you, and make up futuristic situations for you, and then you so worried. I'm telling you, those things you worried about will not happen. It won't happen. So let me know in the chat, what are you worried about? What is worrying you? What is getting you so worried? So that we can talk solutions from a different perspective than you, because what is in your mind is not what is in my mind. So maybe I can think more clearly about the situation, and I can offer you suggestions, opinions with a more clear mind, you know, than than you thinking right now. So let me know in the chat comment section, and I will be able to counsel you on that. And on that note, to my next section. Bye.